The morning started like any other Tuesday on Earth. People went to work, children went to school, and the world turned as it always had. Nobody knew that everything was about to change forever. Admiral Hyunwoo stood on the bridge of the Earth Defense Coalition flagship Resilience, drinking his third cup of coffee of the day. He was a tall man with gray hair and tired eyes that had seen too many military reports. The space around Earth looked peaceful through the large windows of the bridge. Small cargo ships moved between the orbital stations and the moon hung bright in the distance. Then the alarm started screaming. "Admiral," called Lieutenant Dong Hyun from his station. His voice was shaking. "We have massive energy signatures appearing all around Earth. Something big is coming through hyperspace." Hyunwoo set down his coffee cup and walked to the main display screen. The tactical computer was going crazy with readings. Whatever was coming was huge. Much bigger than anything humanity had ever built. "How many ships?" Hyunwoo asked. "Counting now, sir. At least 50 large vessels. Maybe more." The first ship appeared like a shadow against the stars. It was massive, easily 10 times the size of the Resilience. The hull was black as space itself, smooth and curved like a deadly sculpture. More ships followed, appearing one by one until they filled the space around Earth like a dark metal storm. On Luna Base, Dr. So-Young was running to her laboratory when the emergency signals started. She was a small woman with quick hands and an even quicker mind. For months, she had been studying strange radio signals from deep space, signals that told stories of planets that went silent overnight, worlds that stopped broadcasting, stopped sending messages, stopped existing as free civilizations. She had tried to warn the Earth Defense Coalition about the pattern she saw. Every dead world had received the same type of transmission just before going silent. A broadcast in an unknown language followed by silence. Always the same timing, always the same result. Now those same signals were coming from the ships surrounding Earth. Commander Taemin was deep underground in his command bunker when the invasion began. The bunker was built into the mountains beneath Seoul, connected to defense networks around the world. His job was to coordinate Earth's protection if anything bad ever happened. He never thought anything this bad would actually happen. "Commander," his assistant called out, "we're receiving a transmission from the alien fleet. It's being broadcast on all frequencies, all languages." The main screen lit up with the image of an alien face. It was tall and thin, with skin like gray leather and eyes that glowed with a cold blue light. When it spoke, the computer translated its words into human language. "Primitive beings of the third planet," the alien said. Its voice was calm and certain. "I am Warlord Velthon of the Veltari hegemony. Your world has been chosen for integration into our empire. You will surrender immediately and accept your new place as servants of the hegemony." Taemin felt his blood turn cold. He had studied military history all his life, but nothing had prepared him for this moment. "Real aliens demanding Earth's surrender," the alien continued speaking. "We have claimed 847 worlds before yours. All have accepted their place in our empire. You will do the same. We give you 72 hours to surrender completely. If you do not surrender, we will demonstrate our power. After the demonstration, you will surrender anyway. All species do." The transmission ended, leaving the command center in dead silence. On the bridge of the Resilience, Admiral Hyunwoo was reading reports from around the world. The alien fleet had positioned itself perfectly. Large ships hung over every major city on Earth. New York, London, Tokyo, Moscow, Delhi, all of them had massive alien vessels floating in their skies like dark clouds. "Sir," Lieutenant Dong Hyun said quietly, "I'm picking up communications between the alien ships. The computer is translating some of it." "What are they saying?" "They're following something called Protocol 7. It appears to be their standard invasion procedure. They're discussing which city to use for the demonstration strike." Hyunwoo nodded grimly. He had suspected this would happen. For the past 2 years, the Earth Defense Coalition had been preparing for exactly this scenario. Not because they knew aliens were coming, but because they knew that someday, humanity might face an enemy too powerful to fight with normal tactics. Dr. So-Young was pulling up her research files in her Luna laboratory. The data she had collected painted a clear picture. The Veltari always followed the same pattern: arrive with overwhelming force, make demands, give the target species a short time to think about it, then destroy one major population center to show their power. After that, every species had surrendered within hours, 847 times. This exact plan had worked perfectly. But Dr. So Young had spent months studying not just the Veltari's successes, but their methods. She had learned how their weapons worked, how their shields operated, how their ships moved through space. More importantly, she had learned that they always followed the same playbook. That was going to be their weakness. She opened a secure communication channel to the defense network. Commander Taemin, Dr. So Young here. Are you ready to implement the Prometheus protocol? In his bunker, Taemin smiled for the first time since the aliens arrived. All systems are ready, Doctor. We've been preparing for this day. The Prometheus protocol was Earth's biggest secret. For 2 years, every major city on the planet had been building massive energy shield generators, not because anyone expected alien invasion, but because the strange signals from space had convinced a few key people that something bad was coming. The shields were based on theoretical physics that most scientists said was impossible. But Dr. So Young had made them work anyway. They could stop any energy weapon, but only for a limited time. The plan was to use them to survive the aliens' demonstration attack, then strike back while the enemy was surprised. It was a desperate plan. But it was the only plan they had. Above Earth, Warlord Velthon stood on the bridge of his flagship and looked down at the blue world below. It was a pretty planet, he thought. The blue color reminded him of his homeworld, before it had been conquered by his own people so many generations ago. He felt no emotion about what was going to happen. The demonstration strike was necessary. These humans needed to understand that resistance was useless. After their largest city was destroyed, they would surrender like all the others. Then the Veltari would strip the planet of useful resources, take the strongest humans as slaves, and move on to the next conquest. It was efficient. It was proven. It worked every single time. In 72 hours, he would give the order to destroy one of their cities, probably the one they called New York. It was large enough to make an impression, but not so large that destroying it would waste too many potential slaves. Velthon had no way of knowing that the humans were not going to follow the script. He had no idea that they had been preparing for this exact scenario. He could not imagine that any primitive species would be clever enough to turn his own tactics against him. The countdown to humanity's surrender had begun. But instead of preparing to give up, the people of Earth were preparing to fight back. The invasion had begun like all the others. But this time, the Veltari had chosen the wrong species to conquer. 72 hours passed like a slow nightmare. Around the world, people watched the alien ships hanging in their skies. The massive black vessels never moved, never changed position. They just waited like metal vultures ready to strike. Warlord Velthon stood on his command bridge looking at the timing display. In 1 hour, the demonstration would begin. He had chosen New Tokyo as the target. The city had 12 million humans living in it. Destroying it would show the rest of the species exactly what would happen if they continued to resist. He turned to his weapons officer. Prepare the primary energy cannon. Set power to demonstration level. We want to remove the city center but leave the outer areas intact. Yes, Warlord, the officer replied. The cannon will be ready in 30 minutes. Velthon nodded. This was always his favorite part of a conquest. The moment when a primitive species realized how hopeless their situation was. Soon, the humans would see their greatest city turn to ash in seconds. Then they would surrender, just like all the others. On Earth, Admiral Hyunwoo was in the command center of the Resilience. His ship was hidden behind the moon, out of sight from the alien fleet. Around him, his crew worked quietly at their stations. Everyone knew what was about to happen. Admiral, Lieutenant Dong Hyun called out. We're detecting energy buildup in the main alien ship over New Tokyo. They're charging their primary weapon. How long until they fire? Estimated 20 minutes, sir. Hyunwoo opened a communication channel to all Earth Defense Forces. This is Admiral Hyunwoo. The demonstration is about to begin. All shield stations prepare for activation on my command. Around the world, massive machines hummed to life. The shield generators had been built in secret over 2 years. They were hidden beneath every major city on Earth. Most people did not even know they existed. Dr. So Young was in her control center on Luna Base, watching the readings from New Tokyo. The alien ship above the city was glowing with energy. In minutes, it would fire the weapon that was supposed to break humanity's spirit forever. She opened her communication link to Commander Taemin. The aliens are almost ready to fire. Are all the shield generators online? In his underground bunker, Taemin checked his displays. Green lights showed ready status for shield stations in every major city around Earth. London, New York, Moscow, Delhi, Sydney, Cairo, all of them were ready. All stations report ready, he told Dr. So-young. The shields will activate the moment they detect incoming energy fire. Good, she replied. Remember, the shields can only hold for a few minutes at most. After they fire, we need to move fast. Above New Tokyo, the alien dreadnought finished charging its main weapon. The massive energy cannon pointed down at the city center, where millions of people were hiding in underground shelters. The weapon had enough power to turn the entire downtown area into a smoking crater. Warlord Velthon looked at the countdown timer. 10 seconds remaining. This was the moment that always decided a conquest. In 10 seconds, the humans would learn that resistance was impossible. Fire, he commanded. A beam of pure energy, brighter than lightning, shot down from the alien ship. It was a lance of destruction that could cut through any armor, melt any metal, destroy any defense. The same weapon had turned the capitals of 847 worlds into ash and memory. The beam struck New Tokyo's shield and stopped. A dome of brilliant blue light appeared over the entire city. The alien energy beam hit the shield and scattered in all directions, lighting up the sky like an electric storm. The city beneath remained completely untouched. On the alien command bridge, Velthon stared at his displays in shock. His weapons officer was shouting reports, but the words made no sense. Warlord, the energy beam has been completely deflected. The target is undamaged. The city appears to be protected by some kind of energy barrier. That is impossible, Velthon said quietly. No primitive species has ever had shield technology. Check your readings. Sir, the readings are correct. Our demonstration strike has failed. Around Earth, 49 other alien ships were getting the same impossible reports. Every major human city was now surrounded by a glowing energy shield. Every attempted demonstration strike had been stopped cold. Admiral Hyunwoo smiled as the reports came in from around the world. All cities report successful shield activation. 0 damage from alien weapons. He opened a communication channel to the entire human fleet. All ships, this is Admiral Hyunwoo. The shields are holding. Begin Phase 2 immediately. Across Earth, hidden missile batteries opened up like deadly flowers. For 2 years, these weapons had been built in secret and hidden in mountains, forests, and ocean floors. They were loaded with special warheads designed by Dr. So-young specifically to fight Veltari technology. The missiles were not nuclear weapons. They were EMP devices, designed to shut down alien electronics by overloading their energy systems. Dr. So-young had learned, from studying the alien signals, that Veltari ships used a specific type of power grid that had a critical weakness. Commander, Taemin coordinated the missile launch from his bunker. On his main display, he could see thousands of launch signatures appearing around the globe. Every missile battery on Earth was firing at the same time. All batteries report successful launch, his assistant called out. Time to impact 90 seconds. In space above Earth, the alien fleet was still trying to understand what had happened. Their demonstration strikes had failed completely. This had never happened before in their entire history of conquest. Warlord Velthon was shouting orders at his crew. Increase weapon power to maximum. Fire again. These primitive shields cannot possibly withstand our full strength. But before his ship could fire again, the human missiles arrived. The EMP warheads exploded in brilliant flashes of electromagnetic energy. The pulses hit the smaller alien ships first, overloading their power systems exactly as Dr. So-young had predicted. One by one, the escort vessels went dark and began drifting helplessly in Earth's gravity. Warlord, his navigation officer reported, we are losing ships. 15 escort vessels have lost all power. They are falling toward the planet. Velthon watched in growing horror as his perfect fleet began to fall apart. The humans were not supposed to fight back. They were certainly not supposed to have weapons that could damage Veltari ships. How is this possible? He demanded. How do these primitives have shield technology? How do they have weapons that can penetrate our defenses? His science officer was studying the human attacks. Sir, it appears they have studied our technology somehow. These EMP devices are specifically designed to exploit weaknesses in our power grid systems. On Luna Base, Dr. So-young was watching the battle with satisfaction. The plan was working perfectly. The aliens had expected an easy conquest, but instead they were facing an enemy that had prepared specifically to fight them. "Commander Taman," she said over the communication link. "The alien fleet is in chaos. Their smaller ships are disabled. Now would be a good time to launch the fighter squadrons." From hidden bases around Earth, human fighter ships launched into space. These were not ordinary military aircraft. They had been built using stolen alien technology, reverse-engineered from crashed scout ships and intercepted communications. Captain Mina led the first squadron into battle. Her fighter was small compared to the alien dreadnoughts, but it was fast and armed with weapons that the aliens had never seen before. Human weapons that used alien energy technology but improved with human engineering. "All fighters, this is Captain Mina," she broadcast. "Remember your training. Hit the escort ships first, then focus on the dreadnought engines. We need to keep them from escaping." The human fighters swarmed around the disabled alien ships like angry insects. Their weapons tore through alien hulls that were designed to resist primitive projectiles, but not advanced energy beams fired by ships that moved in ways the aliens had never seen before. Warlord Velthon realized that his perfect conquest was turning into a disaster. Half of his escort fleet was disabled or destroyed. The humans had shields, advanced weapons, and fighting tactics that his people had never encountered. For the first time in his long military career, he was facing an enemy that was not afraid of him. "All ships," he broadcast to his fleet, "retreat to safe distance. We need to reassess this situation." But as his remaining ships tried to pull back, more human missiles arrived. These were not EMP weapons. These were kinetic impactors designed to punch through alien armor and disable their engines. The demonstration was over. But instead of breaking human resistance, it had shown the galaxy something that had never happened before. The Veltari could be beaten. 3 months after the failed demonstration, the war had settled into a deadly routine. The Veltari ships still hung in Earth's skies, but now they kept their distance. The humans had proven they could fight back, and that changed everything. Admiral Hyunwoo stood in what used to be the Seoul Conference Center. Half the building was destroyed by an alien bombing run 2 weeks ago, but the other half still worked as a command center. His hair had turned completely white during the past 3 months, and deep lines marked his tired face. "Status report," he called to his staff. Lieutenant Dong Hyun looked up from his display screen. "Sir, we lost another supply convoy near the Australian defense grid. The aliens are getting better at intercepting our movements." Hyunwoo nodded grimly. The war was not going the way either side had expected. The humans had stopped the quick conquest, but they could not drive the aliens away completely. The Veltari had superior technology, but they had never learned how to fight a long war against an enemy that refused to surrender. On Luna Base, Dr. So-young was working in her laboratory. The room was much bigger now, filled with alien technology that her teams had salvaged from destroyed ships. Every piece of Veltari equipment was carefully studied, taken apart, and rebuilt with human improvements. "Doctor," her assistant called out, "the new energy weapons are ready for testing." So-young walked over to examine the weapons. They looked like alien energy rifles, but human engineers had made important changes. The power cells lasted longer, the beams were more focused, and they could fire faster than the original Veltari designs. "Excellent," she said. "How many can we produce?" "About 50 per day if we keep getting salvaged alien materials." It was not enough. The human population was over 7 billion, but they only had weapons for a few million fighters. Still, it was better than 3 months ago when they had almost no alien technology at all. Commander Taman was deep in his mountain bunker, coordinating defense operations around the world. The war had spread to every continent. Alien ground forces had landed in dozens of places, trying to capture human cities and force surrenders. The ground fighting was brutal, but strange. Veltari soldiers were individually stronger and better armed than humans, but they fought like they expected easy victories. When humans fought back with determination and clever tactics, the aliens seemed confused and uncertain. "Commander," his communications officer reported, "we just received word from the African Defense Zone. Captain Mina's squadron successfully destroyed an alien supply depot in the Congo region." Taimin smiled. Mina had become one of their best squadron leaders during the past 3 months. Her fighters used hit-and-run tactics that the aliens could not counter effectively. She would strike fast, destroy important targets, then disappear before the enemy could respond. Captain Mina was leading her squadron back to base when she spotted something unusual. A damaged alien transport ship was trying to land in a remote forest area. It was flying badly, probably hit by human missiles. "Squadron, this is Captain Mina," she broadcast. "We have a wounded alien ship below us. This could be our chance to capture intact technology." Her fighters surrounded the alien transport and forced it to land. When Mina and her team got inside, they found something unexpected. The ship was not carrying weapons or supplies. It was full of alien refugees. "Please," one of the aliens said in broken human language. "We surrender. We do not want to fight anymore." Mina was surprised. During 3 months of war, no Veltari soldier had ever tried to surrender. They always fought to the death, even when their situation was hopeless. The alien continued speaking. "My name is Kethvar. I was communications officer on Dreadnought ship. Many of us are tired of this war. We never fought enemy like humans before. We do not know how to win." Mina contacted Commander Taiman immediately. "Sir, we have captured aliens who want to surrender. This has never happened before. What should we do with them?" Back on Warlord Velthon's flagship, the situation was getting worse every day. What should have been a quick 3-day conquest was now entering its 4th month with no end in sight. His fleet had lost 30% of its ships and replacement vessels were months away. "Warlord," his science officer reported, "the humans are adapting our technology faster than we expected. Their weapons are now equal to ours in many ways. Some of their improvements are actually better than our original designs." Velthon studied the tactical reports. It was true. Human fighters were now armed with energy weapons that could damage his dreadnoughts. Human missiles could penetrate Veltari's shields. Most disturbing of all, human tactics kept changing and improving. "How is this possible?" he asked. "These are primitives. They should not be able to match our technology." "Sir, it appears they are very good at learning and adapting. Every time we develop a new tactic, they find a way to counter it within days. Every time we improve our defenses, they find new weaknesses to exploit." The science officer paused before continuing. "Warlord, I must report something else. We are starting to see desertion among our troops. Some soldiers are refusing orders. Others are trying to surrender to human forces." This was the most shocking news of all. Veltari soldiers had been trained for centuries to never surrender, never retreat, never show weakness. But this war was different from anything they had ever experienced. Dr. So Young was interrogating the surrendered aliens in her Luna base facility. The prisoner named Kethvar was very helpful. He explained how Veltari technology worked, what their military strategies were, and most importantly, why they were losing morale. "Your people are different," Kethvar told her. "We have conquered many worlds, but all other species surrendered quickly. You do not surrender. You adapt. You learn. You become stronger during battle instead of weaker." "What do you mean?" So Young asked. "Veltari way is to show power, then accept surrender. We are trained for quick victories, not long wars. Your people fight differently. You study our weaknesses, build new weapons, change tactics constantly. We do not know how to fight an enemy that becomes more dangerous over time." This information was valuable beyond measure. So Young realized that humanity's greatest strength was not their technology or their numbers. It was their ability to learn and adapt under pressure. Admiral Hyunwoo received So Young's report with great interest. If the aliens were having morale problems, maybe there was a way to end the war without destroying both civilizations. He called a meeting of all Earth defense commanders. "We have an opportunity," he told them. "The enemy is tired, confused, and losing confidence. But we cannot defeat them with military force alone. We need a new strategy." Commander Taiman had an idea. What if we offered surrender terms to individual alien soldiers? Not to their leaders, but to the regular troops who are tired of fighting. Captain Mina supported the idea. Some of them are already trying to surrender. If we treat surrendered aliens well, maybe others will follow. Dr. So Young added her analysis. According to Kethvar, many Veltari soldiers believe this war is impossible to win. They have never faced an enemy that fights back effectively for months at a time. The plan they developed was risky, but clever. Instead of trying to destroy the alien fleet, they would try to convince individual alien soldiers to stop fighting. They would use propaganda, fair treatment of prisoners, and proof that humans could offer a better life than endless war. It was a strategy that the Veltari had never encountered before. They knew how to fight military battles, but they did not know how to fight for the hearts and minds of their own troops. The Long War was about to enter a new phase. Instead of just fighting with weapons and ships, both sides would be fighting with ideas and hope. The humans had learned to match alien technology. Now they would try to do something even more difficult. They would try to convince their enemies that there was a better way to live than conquest and war. But Warlord Velthon was not ready to give up. He had sent messages to the hegemony homeworlds, calling for massive reinforcements. If he could not win with superior technology, he would win with superior numbers. The real war was just beginning. 1 year after the invasion began, everything had changed. The skies above Earth still held alien ships, but now human vessels flew alongside them. Not as allies, but as equals in a war that had consumed both civilizations. Admiral Hyunwoo stood in the rebuilt command center in Geneva. The old United Nations building was gone, destroyed in an alien bombing raid 6 months ago. The new building was a mix of human architecture and salvaged alien technology, representing how much the war had transformed both sides. Admiral, Lieutenant Dong Hyun reported, "Our deep space monitors are detecting massive energy signatures at the edge of the solar system. Something big is coming." Hyunwoo felt his stomach tighten. For months they had been expecting Veltari reinforcements. The enemy's homeworlds were finally responding to Warlord Velthon's calls for help. "How big?" he asked. "Sir, the computer estimates at least 200 ships, much larger than the original invasion fleet." This was what they had all feared. Humanity had learned to fight the original Veltari force to a standstill. But 200 fresh ships might be impossible to stop. Dr. So-young was in her expanded research facility on Luna Base. The laboratory now covered several kilometers of underground tunnels, all filled with alien technology and human improvements. Over the past year, her teams had made breakthrough after breakthrough. "Doctor," her chief engineer called out, "the new hybrid weapon systems are ready for testing." So-young walked over to examine their latest creation. It looked like nothing either species had built before. The weapon combined human creativity with alien energy manipulation technology, creating something entirely new. "How powerful is it?" she asked. 3 times more powerful than original Veltari weapons and twice as efficient. We have also solved the overheating problem that limited the alien designs." So-young smiled. This was humanity's secret weapon. They did not just copy alien technology, they improved it. Every captured alien device became the foundation for something better. Commander Taemin was coordinating global defenses when the news arrived. The Veltari reinforcement fleet would reach Earth in less than 72 hours. It was the largest alien military force ever assembled, designed to end the war once and for all. "All defense stations, this is Commander Taemin," he broadcast. "Prepare for Operation Thunderstrike." We knew this day would come. Operation Thunderstrike was humanity's most ambitious plan. Instead of waiting for the aliens to attack, they would strike first. Every human ship, every weapon, every soldier would be thrown into one massive coordinated assault. Captain Mina was preparing her expanded fighter wing when she received an unexpected visitor. It was Kethvar, the alien who had surrendered months earlier. He was now wearing a human military uniform and had become one of their most valuable advisors. "Captain," Kethvar said in his improved human speech, "I must tell you something important about the coming fleet. I know the commander who leads it. His name is War Master Theklan, and he is different from Warlord Velthon." "Different how?" Mina asked. "Velthon is old-style Veltari. He expects quick victories and becomes confused when enemies fight back. But Theklan is younger, more flexible. He has studied your tactics and prepared new strategies specifically to fight humans." This was troubling news. If the aliens were finally adapting to human methods, the war could become much more difficult. On the flagship of the approaching Veltari reinforcement fleet, War Master Theklan studied reports about the ongoing battle for Earth. Unlike Velthon, he was not shocked by human resistance. He had expected it. "Communications officer," he called. "Send a message to Warlord Velthon. Tell him that the old methods have failed because he underestimated the enemy. We will use new tactics." Theklan was younger than most Veltari commanders, and he had carefully studied every battle report from Earth. The humans were dangerous because they adapted quickly and fought with desperate creativity. So he would fight them the same way. His fleet was organized differently than traditional Veltari forces. Instead of massive dreadnoughts designed to intimidate, he brought smaller, faster ships that could change tactics quickly. Instead of energy weapons designed for demonstrations, he brought weapons designed to win real battles. Dr. So-young received the intelligence about War Master Theklan with concern. She called an emergency meeting of all Earth defense leaders. The new alien commander is more dangerous than anything we have faced, she told them. According to our sources, he has studied our methods and developed countermeasures. Admiral Hyun-woo asked, "What kind of countermeasures?" "His ships are faster and more maneuverable than the original fleet. His weapons are designed specifically to penetrate our shield systems. Most importantly, his tactics are based on adaptability rather than intimidation." Commander Taemin realized the implications immediately. "He is fighting us the way we fight them, using our own strengths against us." "Exactly," So Young replied. "We need to be ready for an enemy who thinks like we do." Captain Mina had an idea. "What if we use that against him? If he expects us to be adaptable and creative, maybe we should do something completely unexpected instead." "Like what?" Admiral Hyun-woo asked. "Like fighting exactly the way the old Veltari did. Use massive direct attacks instead of clever tactics. Be predictable instead of creative. Do the opposite of what he expects." It was a risky plan, but it might work. War Master Theclon had prepared to fight adaptable humans, not humans who fought like traditional Veltari warriors. When the alien reinforcement fleet arrived at Earth, they found something completely unexpected. Instead of the scattered guerrilla resistance they had prepared for, they faced a massive human fleet arranged in perfect battle formation. Every human ship was broadcasting on open channels, making no attempt to hide their positions or intentions. They were lined up in neat rows like ancient naval fleets preparing for traditional battle. War Master Theclon stared at his tactical displays in confusion. "What are they doing? This formation makes no sense for their fighting style." His tactical officer was equally puzzled. "Sir, they appear to be copying old Veltari battle formations. But those tactics stopped working against humans months ago." "It must be a trap," Theclon decided. "They want us to attack their main formation while hidden forces strike us from behind." So he ordered his fleet to spread out and search for the hidden human ships that must be waiting to ambush them. His careful plans for fighting adaptive humans became useless when the humans stopped being adaptive. While the alien fleet was scattered and searching for traps that did not exist, Admiral Hyun-woo gave the order for the real attack. "All ships, fire everything." The human fleet unleashed every weapon they had built during a year of war. Improved energy beams, enhanced missiles, and completely new hybrid weapons that combined the best of both technologies. War Master Theclon realized too late that there was no trap. The humans had simply done something so unexpected that all his preparations became worthless. "All ships return to battle formation," he ordered desperately, but his scattered fleet could not regroup fast enough. Captain Mina led her fighter squadrons in devastating attacks against the confused alien ships. The enemy had prepared for clever human tactics, but they were not ready for a simple direct assault with overwhelming firepower. The battle lasted 6 hours. When it was over, half of the Veltari reinforcement fleet was destroyed or disabled. War Master Theclon's flagship was captured intact, with the commander himself taken prisoner. In his prison cell on Luna Base, Theclon spoke with Dr. So-young. He was confused and defeated, unable to understand how his careful plans had failed so completely. "I studied your people for months," he told her. "I learned all your tactics, prepared for all your strategies." "How did you defeat me so easily?" So-young smiled. "That was your mistake. You tried to predict what we would do. But humans do not just adapt to enemies. We adapt to enemies who are adapting to us. We can change faster than you can study us." The war was entering its final phase. The Veltari had sent their best commander and largest fleet, and humanity had defeated both. But the real victory was not military. It was psychological. For the first time in their history, the Veltari faced an enemy that was not just stronger than expected. They faced an enemy that could think faster than they could plan. 2 years after the invasion began, Earth was a world transformed by war. The blue skies were often gray with smoke, and the cities bore scars from alien weapons. But humanity had not only survived, they had grown stronger. Admiral Hyun-woo stood on the bridge of the new flagship Defiance. The ship was a masterpiece of hybrid technology, built with human engineering and perfected alien systems. It was faster than any Veltari vessel, and armed with weapons that surpassed anything either species had originally created. "Admiral," Lieutenant Dong-hyun reported, "long-range sensors are detecting another massive fleet approaching from deep space. This one is different from the others. Yunwoo felt tired in his bones. How many times would they have to prove that Earth could not be conquered? How different? Sir, this fleet is enormous. Over 500 ships, including vessel types we have never seen before. The computer estimates this is the entire remaining Veltari military force. This was it. The final battle. The aliens were throwing everything they had left at Earth in one desperate attempt to end the war. On Luna Base, Dr. So Young was working frantically in her laboratory. 2 years of war had transformed her research facility into the most advanced weapons development center in the galaxy. Her teams had created technology that neither humans nor Veltari could have imagined alone. Doctor, her chief scientist called out, the new planetary defense grid is ready for activation. So Young looked at the massive display screen showing Earth surrounded by thousands of orbital defense platforms. Each platform was armed with hybrid weapons and protected by adaptive shields. It was humanity's ultimate defense system. How many platforms are operational? She asked. All 3,000 platforms are online and ready. The grid can engage multiple targets simultaneously and adapt to new threats in real time. Commander Tae-min was in the deep command bunker, now expanded into a vast underground city. The facility housed not only military personnel but also thousands of civilian refugees and alien prisoners who had chosen to join the human cause. Commander, his intelligence officer reported, we have identified the commander of the approaching fleet. His name is Supreme Warlord Keth-Thon. He is the highest-ranking military leader in the entire Veltari hegemony. This news was both encouraging and terrifying. If they could defeat the Supreme Warlord, the war might truly end. But if he defeated them, humanity would face extinction. Captain Mina was preparing the largest fighter force ever assembled. Her squadrons now included not only human pilots, but also former Veltari soldiers who had joined their cause. The mixed fighter groups used tactics that combined human creativity with alien technology knowledge. All squadron leaders, she broadcast, this is our final battle. The enemy is bringing everything they have. We need to be ready for anything. Among her pilots was Kethvar, the first Veltari to surrender to humans. He now flew a hybrid fighter and had trained dozens of other alien defectors. His knowledge of Veltari tactics had saved human lives countless times. Captain Mina, he said over the communication channel, I know Supreme Warlord Keth-Thon personally. He is not like the other commanders you have faced. He is absolutely ruthless and will sacrifice anything to achieve victory. In the approaching alien fleet, Supreme Warlord Keth-Thon stood on the bridge of his massive command ship. The vessel was 3 times larger than any previous Veltari warship, built specifically for this final assault on Earth. Communications officer, he commanded, broadcast this message on all human frequencies. The transmission reached every device on Earth and throughout the solar system. Keth-Thon's image appeared on screens everywhere, his face cold and determined. Humans of Earth, he said. I am Supreme Warlord Keth-Thon of the Veltari hegemony. You have resisted us for 2 years and caused great damage to our forces. This ends now. His voice grew harder as he continued. I bring with me the entire remaining military power of our civilization. 512 warships, each more powerful than anything you have faced before. This is your final opportunity to surrender. The transmission paused before continuing with a darker tone. If you do not surrender immediately, I will not simply conquer your world. I will destroy it completely. Every city, every human, every trace of your species will be erased from existence. You have 1 hour to decide. The message ended, leaving Earth in tense silence. Admiral Hyunwoo called an emergency meeting of all defense leaders. The command center was packed with military officers, scientists, and alien defectors who had joined humanity's cause. The enemy has given us 1 hour to surrender, he announced. I want to hear everyone's thoughts. Dr. So Young spoke first. Our analysis shows their fleet is indeed more powerful than anything we have faced. But our defensive systems have also improved dramatically. We have weapons and tactics they have never encountered. Commander Tae-min added. The planetary defense grid gives us a significant advantage in protecting Earth itself. But if we lose the space battle, the grid won't matter. Captain Mina was more direct. We've come too far to surrender now. If we give up, everything we fought for means nothing. Kethvar, the alien defector, offered a different perspective. Supreme Warlord Keth-Thon means what he says. If he cannot conquer Earth, he will destroy it rather than admit defeat. This battle will determine not just who wins the war, but whether Earth survives at all. The room fell quiet as everyone considered the stakes. Admiral Hyunwoo looked around at the faces of people who had fought together for 2 years. Humans and aliens, soldiers and scientists, all united by the common goal of survival. Then we fight, he decided, not just for victory but for the right to exist. The hour passed quickly. When Keththon's deadline expired, the alien fleet began its approach to Earth. But instead of finding a cowering planet ready to surrender, they found a world that bristled with weapons and defiance. The battle began when the Veltari fleet reached the outer edge of Earth's defense grid. 3,000 orbital platforms opened fire simultaneously, creating a web of energy beams that lit up space like a deadly light show. Keththon watched in amazement as his lead ships encountered resistance, unlike anything in Veltari history. The human weapons were not just powerful, they were intelligent. The defense platforms communicated with each other, coordinated their attacks, and adapted their tactics in real time. "Warlord," his tactical officer reported, "we are losing ships faster than expected. The human defenses are more sophisticated than our intelligence indicated." "Then we break through with overwhelming force," Keththon commanded. "All ships maximum power. Destroy everything in our path." The alien fleet pressed forward, trading ship for ship with the orbital defense platforms. The battle was brutal and costly for both sides. Space filled with debris from destroyed vessels and shattered defense stations. But as the Veltari fleet pushed deeper into Earth's defensive zone, they encountered Captain Mina's fighter squadrons. The mixed human-alien pilot group struck with tactics that were completely unpredictable. Mina led the attack on Keththon's command ship personally. Her hybrid fighter, built with the best technology from both civilizations, danced through the alien fleet's defensive fire. "All fighters, concentrate on the command ship's engine systems," she ordered. "If we can disable their flagship, the rest of their fleet will lose coordination." The battle for Earth's survival had begun. In space above the planet, the largest space battle in galactic history was being fought between two civilizations that had transformed each other through 2 years of war. The outcome would determine not just the fate of Earth, but the future of both species. The final battle lasted 18 hours. When it ended, space around Earth was filled with the wreckage of two civilizations that had destroyed each other in the greatest conflict the galaxy had ever seen. Admiral Hyunwoo stood on the observation deck of the damaged flagship Defiance. His ship had taken heavy damage during the battle, but it was still flying. Through the large windows, he could see the debris field that stretched from Earth's orbit all the way to the moon. Floating in the darkness were the remains of over 400 Veltari warships and nearly 2,000 human orbital defense platforms. The cost of victory had been enormous. "Admiral," Lieutenant Dong Hyun reported from his damaged station, "we are receiving surrender signals from the remaining alien ships. Supreme Warlord Keththon's command ship has been captured intact." Hyunwoo nodded slowly. After 2 years of war, it was finally over. But the victory felt hollow. Earth had survived, but barely. Half the planet's population was gone, most cities were ruins, and the skies were dark with the smoke of 1,000 battles. On Luna Base, Dr. So-young was reading the final battle reports in her laboratory. The room was quiet now, no longer filled with the urgent activity of wartime research. Her teams had created weapons that saved humanity, but the cost had been almost too high to bear. "Doctor," her assistant said quietly, "the casualty reports are complete. We lost over 3 billion people during the 2-year war." So-young closed her eyes. 3 billion human lives and probably just as many aliens. The Veltari fleet that had arrived to conquer Earth was completely destroyed. Their entire military force was gone, leaving their homeworlds defenseless. "What about the alien prisoners?" she asked. "Over 50,000 Veltari soldiers have surrendered or been captured. Many are asking to stay on Earth rather than return to their homeworlds." Commander Tae-min was in his command bunker, coordinating the massive cleanup operation. The war was over, but the work of rebuilding would take decades. Cities needed to be rebuilt, the dead needed to be buried, and somehow humanity needed to find a way to move forward. "Commander," his communications officer called out, "we are receiving messages from across the galaxy. Word of our victory is spreading to other worlds." Tae-min looked at the incoming transmissions. They were coming from dozens of different star systems, all containing the same basic message. Species that had been conquered by the Veltari centuries ago were declaring their independence. The news that the mighty hegemony had been defeated by a primitive world called Earth was inspiring rebellions everywhere. "Sir," the officer continued, "some of the messages are asking for our help. They want human military advisors to help them fight off any remaining Veltari forces." This was something nobody had expected. Earth had fought for survival, not to become a galactic power. But by defeating the Veltari so completely, they had accidentally become the strongest military force in known space. Captain Mina was visiting the medical stations where wounded pilots from both sides were being treated together. Human doctors were saving Veltari lives, while alien medics used their advanced healing technology to help injured humans. She found Kethvar in one of the recovery rooms. The alien pilot had been badly wounded during the final battle, but he was alive and healing. "How are you feeling?" Mina asked. "Better each day," Kethvar replied. "But I am worried about what happens next. My people have no military left to protect them. Other species in the galaxy may try to conquer Veltari worlds for revenge." Mina had not thought about this problem. The Veltari had been the galaxy's dominant military power for centuries. With them gone, there would be a power vacuum that other aggressive species might try to fill. In the captured alien command ship, Admiral Hyunwoo was meeting with Supreme Warlord Keth Thon. The alien commander sat in a human prison cell, but he was not being treated badly. Earth's leaders had learned that how they treated defeated enemies would determine what kind of civilization they became. "Your people fought well," Keth Thon admitted grudgingly. "Better than any species we had ever faced. We underestimated you from the very beginning." "Why did your people become conquerors?" Hyunwoo asked. "What drove you to attack world after world for centuries?" Keth Thon was quiet for a long time before answering. "Fear," he finally said. "Long ago, my people were almost destroyed by another species. We decided that the only way to be safe was to be the strongest. We conquered others before they could conquer us. And now we are the conquered ones. Our homeworlds are defenseless, our fleets are destroyed, our empire is finished. Other species will do to us what we did to them." Dr. So-young had been listening to the conversation through the communication system. She had an idea that might prevent another cycle of conquest and revenge. "Admiral," she said over the intercom, "what if we offered protection to the Veltari homeworlds? Not as conquerors, but as protectors." Hyunwoo was surprised by the suggestion. "Protect the people who tried to destroy us?" "Think about it," So-young continued. "If we let the Veltari worlds be conquered by others, we just create new enemies who will eventually come after Earth. But if we protect them, we create allies instead." It was a radical idea. Instead of celebrating their victory by expanding their own empire, Earth would use its new power to protect former enemies. Commander Tai Min supported the plan when he heard about it. "We have proven that we can win wars. Now we need to prove that we can win peace." The decision was made in a global vote that took place across Earth's remaining population. Despite everything the Veltari had done, humanity chose to protect rather than punish. Within months, human ships were patrolling Veltari space, defending the alien homeworlds against species that wanted revenge for centuries of conquest. It was the beginning of something new in galactic history. Captain Mina led the first diplomatic mission to establish peaceful relations with the former Veltari colonies. Many of the species that had been enslaved for generations welcomed human protection, but others were suspicious of Earth's motives. "Why should we trust you?" asked the leader of a world that had been conquered 300 years earlier. "How do we know you will not become conquerors like the Veltari?" Mina gave the only answer she could. "You don't know. We don't know either. But we are going to try to be better than that." 1 year after the final battle, Admiral Hyunwoo stood again on the observation deck of the rebuilt flagship Defiance. But now he was not looking at Earth. He was looking at the stars, where human ships patrolled a region of space containing dozens of worlds and billions of people. The invasion had begun like all the others, with a superior alien force demanding surrender from a primitive world. But it had ended with Earth standing as the galaxy's reluctant guardian, alone amid the ashes of the old order. Humanity had survived by refusing to surrender. Now they faced a different challenge. They had to learn how to use their strength wisely, how to protect without conquering, how to lead without ruling. Dr. So-young's final report on the war included a warning that would guide human policy for generations. "We have become powerful by accident," she wrote. "The real test of our civilization is not whether we can win wars, but whether we can avoid starting them." The galaxy was watching Earth, wondering what kind of civilization the humans would become. Some species hoped for liberation and protection, others feared a new age of human conquest. But on Earth, in the rebuilt cities and the orbital stations, people were simply trying to heal from 2 years of total war. They had saved their world, but in doing so, they had inherited responsibility for many others. The invasion was over. The real work was just beginning. Earth stood alone among the stars, surrounded by the grateful and the fearful, carrying the burden of power they had never wanted but could not abandon. They had proven that humans would fight to survive. Now they had to prove that survival was worth the price they had paid.